Hi, everybody. We're in the Don Best War Room. Brian Blessing, Todd Furman. Time for your Monday start of the week market report, games that were hung over the weekend, and early line movements. Let's start with Syracuse at Cincinnati. Todd, we're looking at a game where the Bearcats opened 7. It's down to 5. This one kind of makes sense. A little letdown spot for the Bearcats off the defeat to Louisville.
Yeah, you look at Cincinnati. They let a golden opportunity slip through their fingers last Friday night against Louisville. They had that game won. They needed a late touchdown drive to force overtime, but turnovers did them in. Syracuse, fresh off of an improbable win against South Florida, playing with a little bit of momentum. I have to believe I agree with this move. Cincinnati may be sluggish getting into first gear.
How about Texas at Texas Tech? We've got the Red Raiders opened up 5-point favorites. This one's gone up to 7. Is that a function of what we saw last, and that was Texas struggling with Kansas?
This Texas team is so tough to figure out. One thing you do know is they don't tackle at all. And if they're not prepared for this Red Raider attack come Saturday, it's going to be a long day. Defensively, a ton of issues. But the one thing Texas can do is run the football and keep the Red Raiders on the sidelines, which will give them the best chance not only to cover, maybe pull an outright win and love it.
Another one that makes sense, and again, this is an angle that we've been talking about for a lot of years here in Las Vegas. Teams lose that first game, and they have adverse reactions the following week, especially this late in the season. Now, Texas A&M is at Mississippi State, and this is a big mover in favor of the Aggies because the Bulldogs got boat raced by Bama.
We knew Mississippi State wasn't that good. Now, do we think they were going to go out there and lose 38-7 in a showcase game Saturday night against Alabama? Probably not. An early start time in Starkville, a lot of the wind out of the sails. This is the Brian Blessing special. You go against teams that lost their first game, now have their season hopes almost dashed.
3-point move in this one, though, up to 6.5 stands to reason. It's going to make it to 7.
Yeah, I think Texas A&M, they have an explosive offense. Now, beating Auburn and doing it as handily as they did, a big issue. One thing to keep in mind, A&M does have Alabama on deck, so maybe a little bit of a look-ahead type spot. But Kevin Sumlin has his team clicking on all cylinders.
Hey, what's going on here? Let's go to the NFL. The Brownies won a football game, and the money's coming against Cleveland. They beat San Diego on Sunday. Baltimore is at Cleveland. Ravens open 3. It's up to 3.5. The one thing we know, a banged-up Ravens team gets a little bit of rest and extra time to prepare for the Browns off a bye.
Coming off a loss against the Texans, they needed the 2 weeks to regroup, try and figure out their identity. You look at what John Harbaugh does off a bye week. This guy is one of the best in the business. I think this number was a little bit short based on Cleveland. I know these two teams played close earlier in the year, but if Baltimore's going to take that next step, they'll come out with their hair on fire.
He's the man, Todd Furman. It's your Monday market report here at DonBest.com. Don't forget, we'll be back with you on Friday and talking about the midweek moves and get you ready for the weekend.
Don Best Sports, what you need to win.